The War Report coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric. And the voice of NEW, Vince Berry. Hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT? Handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by TagMeADate. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here. No safe space, now listen in. Time to hear from some of the greats.
Smell what The Rock is cooking.
I mean, I would just let it go. I could listen to that all day.
I almost wanted to play the whole fucking show.
I can't say that his reaction that he's doing right now was the only person in the house doing that on Friday night.
Oh,
Just saying.
Oh, I can smell The Rock coming back.
Finally, The Rock has come home. What an amazing moment. And you know, in this day and age, it's so fucking hard to keep a surprise. And I had no idea, even knowing that he wasn't far from the venue, there was no question in my mind that he was actually going to ever show up. But welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did I mention The Rock has returned?
Yeah.
No, I don't think you brought that up yet.
In the comments here, going crazy when it happened, of course.
You know
that is.
Yeah, it's got to be Tara, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is Tara, yep. And then Roscoe.
Oh boy. We need a little, like, one of those little news, like the Fox News update whenever David makes a post.
You said you were going to put something together.
That's right. I was supposed to do that. I have to do that. Somebody
Yeah, but it's got to be the ESPN, like,
exactly, yes.
Trish Stratus being a second perfect 10 next to the living legend last Sunday was 17th anniversary, winning her 7th women's champion. Thank you for the update. And then my favorite, The Rock will win the Royal Rumble.
Now that one I can get behind.
I'll say this, and I don't have too much time tonight, unfortunately, but I was talking to Al, who unfortunately will not make it tonight. He might make it later on, but we were talking about it, and he says, "You're crazy. You're being one of those marks that The Rock is coming back, and we've been saying it for so long." Listen, if there was ever a time that I'm more convinced than ever, it's now, because you heard it from his mouth this time. If you listen to the interview that he had on McAfee's show prior to coming to SmackDown, he made it very clear. It was locked in for 39. For whatever reason, they couldn't make it work. 40 is on the table. He's got nothing else to do. That's why you have The Rock. That's why you have John Cena. That's why you're going to probably see Batista coming back soon. I'll tell you where I'm coming from that. But there's nothing else going on, so you might as well. If you can make it worthwhile, there's no reason not to. He's only getting older, and I will say this too. Nothing will take away from how hard I marked when The Rock's music hit. And I mean, that crowd just took you to what a superstar's reaction gets, like a Cody Rhodes, versus an icon like The Rock. Nobody gets that kind of reaction that he does. And that was evident at SmackDown after 4 years after retirement. But The Rock is telling you it's not off the table. If they can do something that makes sense, which I don't see how they could do anything that wouldn't make sense. The only thing that wouldn't make sense is if you don't have The Rock versus Roman. That's what wouldn't make sense. They're going to do Rock versus Roman. It is going to happen in Philadelphia. He's only getting older. And I will say, this is the first time I saw The Rock where when he came out, I was like, wow, he does look a little older. He still looks great. He still can pull off a great spine buster. And, of course, the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today, the elbow. But at the end of the day, he is getting older. And apparently he got severely injured in that second match with John Cena where he wrestled 20 to 25 minutes with a torn abdomen. And he just showed you he still finished the match. But
laugh of all laughs, though, the sneaker that fell off of Austin Theory's foot during the thing, the break, he signed it. $60,000 to Make-A-Wish Foundation for that shoe.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Oh, can I say something?
Ask Steve. He wants to know if he could say something. Real quick, bud. Go ahead.
Rock is not winning no Royal Rumble. It's going to be Gunther.
I like this kid.
Listen to me.
I want Gunther versus Roman Reigns because I think Gunther's going to win the Intercontinental Championship at Chamber.
Who's going to win it?
He's smarter. He's smarter than all of us. Like,
you know what I want to see more than that?
What?
Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. That's the match I want to see. Brock Lesnar doesn't need a title.
Before WrestleMania.
Make it happen.
I love it. I love it. Well, we will see.
Skip needs to be writing for the WWE, man. He comes up with better stuff than.
Should be.
Probably Triple H should invite me to WWE in the first place when I'm just at this age.
Triple H should invite him to the WWE at this age.
Well, if Triple H is listening, you better get ready because you might get a phone call.
I mean, listen, he hired a couple of
RKO Triple H.
So I can RKO Triple H.
He hired a
I'd
couple
pay
of
money to
Foleys.
see that.
Like if I'll hire one of Foley's,
I think you're videotaping Vince and Steve.
we'll be there for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll archive it for sure.
Now say goodnight because you got to go to bed. Say goodnight.
10 more minutes?
No.
That was great.
Say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night, kiddo.
You had a good appearance.
Hey, listen, he makes the 5 minutes he's on entertaining, but the good news is I have the phone, so he's not crashing the chat tonight.
Oh, the chat. But no, I mean, listen, he's not wrong. I was saying this last year about Gunther during the Royal Rumble. It was kind of a roller coaster. You're watching this Royal Rumble unfold, and Gunther's putting on such a performance. You start off going, Gunther needs to win this thing, and then in the middle of it, Brock Lesnar comes out, and you're like, no, fuck that. We need Gunther versus Brock Lesnar. And then by like minute 52, you're like, no. I think Gunther should win this thing. And I know Cody won it and all this other stuff, but like, Gunther's not a bad choice, man. I don't know unless he goes against Seth.
What I think they need to do now is get over the whole idea that Cody's going to be in the main event at Mania. If The Rock is on board, that's a done deal. I don't want to see multiple night ones and night twos with the same people. I don't want it. The main event, night 2, should be Roman Rock for the title, where The Rock will officially pass the torch to Roman. I think at that point, you have Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. So John Cena passes the torch to Cody because let's face it, Cody Rhodes right now is the closest thing to a John Cena you're ever going to see again in a lifetime. And then you can have Gunther versus Brock. You could have Seth Rollins versus LA Knight. I have already written the fucking card. And what bothers me the most is I decided we're not going to go to Mania this year because the tickets are that stupid.
They really are.
But you know what? If The Rock is going, it's worth $1,000 for nosebleeds. I'm still not going to do it. But, I mean, at that point, I'd rather watch it on TV than watching the nosebleeds. If I'm going to pay $1,000 to watch it on the screen at the stadium, I'd rather watch it on my TV.
You want to know how much they want for the house shows here in Roanoke and everything right now? The one that's coming up? They want
ringside seats have to be $300 each.
Yeah, they want $400 a person for a ringside seat.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. But that's the thing, though. You go to a house show, you don't need to get ringside. You get one level up front row, and those tickets are $150, and they're perfect.
Absolutely.
You don't have anyone blocking you. Like whenever I go, I don't ever go for ringside because
Nope.
they're just stupid.
No.
But if
Right.
I can get one level up front row, I can see everything great. I'm close enough to the action. I'm happy.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
have to watch
I
it on
agree.
screen.
I'm just saying, for a house show, come on.
But I definitely wanted to get on here just to I get goosebumps thinking about it, and I'm just hoping this is not, another, listen, if he comes out at Rumble, I'm okay with that too. If
Right.
he wins the Rumble, I'm good with that. But we need more of The Rock. The guy generated over 100 million views on all social media in 24 hours of him showing up. What does that tell you? There is still a draw. And even Rock says he appreciates the reaction. He still can't believe it, this and that. Dude,
Right.
what's not to believe? My hope is that when his music hit and he heard how nuts that crowd went, that he got the feels and it got back in him. You know what I mean? Like when you aren't around it as much, you
Right.
lose the feel.
Yeah.
But there's nothing more than stepping through the curtain to that kind of ovation, and it gets back in your blood and it gets back into your heart. And I'm hoping that he misses that feeling enough that he's going to want to do this a couple more times, because you got to lead up to Mania. So
Right.
if the next time we see him is the Rumble, okay, it's the Rumble. But then he has to win the Rumble, and then he has to fight Roman, and then you could have the build.
But he's not one of the legends that you can put in the Royal Rumble and he gets eliminated like after 2 wrestlers. If he's in the Rumble, he's winning the Rumble.
Well, I mean, listen, chances are if he's in the Rumble, he's going to be anywhere from 25 to 30.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's not going in there for very
He's
long.
he's not going to be in there very long.
But what I'm saying, even like when they throw some of the medium to legends or whatever, and they throw them in anywhere between 15 and 25, some of them only have 10, 15 minutes in the ring. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, but like that's for like The Godfather or D'Lo
Right.
Brown. You know what I mean? It's not for The Rock. The Rock's not
Absolutely.
coming. Yeah.
Well, Edge came in at 21, don't forget.
Yeah, well, that's true. But Edge was also returning more on a quote-unquote full-time basis. But one last thing before I have to jump off.
If I don't give my stats, I haven't done my job. So.
Well, that's fair.
There you go.
One more thing I want to say before I got to jump off.
All right.
Very excited for Jade Cargill.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you're going to do it right with Jade, she debuts right on the main roster and right into Hurt Business 2.0.
I don't know, man. I feel like she needs to. The main criticism most people had with Jade is that she was not TV ready with her ring work. And
she's gotten a lot better, though.
She had no. She definitely has. She's definitely improved. But I don't know. I think so few people have gone directly to the main roster. She's got to spend at least a little time down there in NXT.
Well, apparently she reported to the PC today. So she's at the PC Center. She's doing her thing. I think they're bringing her right up to the roster. That's just my opinion. And I think no better place to put her than with Bobby Lashley and the Profits, because I don't see them turning Bianca anytime soon.
Well, no. So, how about this one? Here's what I heard. Not heard. So here's what somebody suggested, that Cody brings Jade out to help his group of him, Sammy, and Kevin fight against the Judgment Day, because they need a female to fight against the Judgment Day.
I'm not against that idea, but I just think
I like your Hurt Business idea better. But somebody was like, "Oh, well, tying into Cody and Jade both coming from AEW. Cody has a he knows who she is. Whatever."
I mean, it definitely could go that way.
I'm going that Jade's going to be matching up with Becky Lynch in NXT now that she's the women's champion.
Interesting. Yeah, and that happened live. Steve was watching it as we were finishing the show last week, and he's like, "Becky Lynch is the NXT champion." I'm like, "What? Did that show just start?" And she's like, "No, the show ends when our show ends." I'm like, "Oh yeah, because we changed times." But it was an interesting development because it was a title she never won when she was in the original NXT, and now
she's officially
Grand Slam or whatever you want to call
champion.
Now she and Seth are the first husband and wife Grand Slam unit too.
Oh,
Oh, that's
how
great.
sweet
So
is
that
that?
Okay.
Stephanie's gonna have to come back and beat her for it.
Oh, good God.
Hey guys, have a great rest of the show. I'm
Hey,
sorry, I
thank
gotta
you,
jump
Steve.
off. I will see you
That's all
guys
right.
next week. I will listen to the show in full tomorrow.
Likewise. All right. I expect the full
Nice
report
meeting.
on my desk.
Oh,
Yeah,
Have
then
a
we
good
got
day.
that means we gotta behave when he signs off. Fuck.
Kat, just make
Right.
sure by tomorrow morning I'm not wishing you the best in your future endeavors.
Pink slips are always good, sweetheart. I accept
right,
all unemployment checks.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye, sweetie.
All right. See you later, man. Yeah, we don't want to get cut like.
Notice how he only warns me.
I don't know why.
You're the freaking comedian.
He should.
and
He
I'm
should
the only
warn
one
me
that gets
too.
warned.
Yeah. He should be absolutely be warning me too.
He
Yeah.
just left the two of us alone.
No.
For 45 minutes on this show.
I don't
Fuck,
wanna
we're
get-
getting canceled tonight.
I know. I don't want to get fired like those poor WWE guys.
Hey, work remotely today.
Yeah, that's always a good sign.
That was fucked up.
When you get that corporate email to work remotely. I had like maybe a 50-50 split on my friends. One of my friends got let go. One of my friends kept his job. It was not a good day for those people.
It's not, but when Nick Khan tells you to work remotely, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, so that is done. The deal is done. WWE has merged with UFC to form this TKO company.
Fucking
there
Gomez
is-
Adams.
With the yeah, all I can think of when I see it is Howard Hughes.
Yeah, that too.
Like, I'm just hoping he doesn't live the rest of his life wearing tissue boxes and shoes and shit like that, you know. But you can't put it past him.
Nope.
That's done. There was a meeting today, just to kind of clean up some weird news. There was a meeting today. Vince McMahon explained that the Ari, whatever his name is, Ari Goldberg or whatever it is, I forget the name.
Yeah, Ari
Is it-
Emanuel.
Ari Emanuel. I was gonna say Ari Aster, but he's a director. He's a
Right.
movie director.
Right.
Ari Emanuel. Yeah, he's the CEO. Vince McMahon described that Ari Emanuel as his boss, which Vince McMahon hasn't had since his dad was alive. So that's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
And basically said his first of all, Tara, I gotta clean up a couple of things because one of them you go, yes, it's Tara. How do I get my name back? Lord, I wish I knew. I have no clue. Every so often it shows your name, and every so often it doesn't, and then it shows your icon, and then it doesn't.
So when she goes on to
Yeah.
Steve's page or whatever, there's a little button for StreamYard that says connect your Facebook to the StreamYard, and it'll post it
Oh my God, that's so complicated.
in there.
All right.
It might
let's
even
see.
say in her comments on the bottom, like, post to Facebook, whatever, like on
Right.
the comment section here. I know it can let you do it that way
Yeah.
too.
And the comment we were laughing at, Tara, that just came in from Tara. I can't believe he thinks it looks good. Vince McMahon hasn't seen anything, television or movie or pop culture wise.
He thinks he's the genetic jackhammer. What the hell?
I think he just hasn't seen, like, he thinks he's supposed to look like Clark Gable.
Oh Lord, here comes another child.
Oh my gosh. How many of these things do you have?
We're horsemen, baby.
Hey, I'm gonna be 15 on Thursday.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, you met her when she was in 3rd grade. Now she's in 10th.
That's crazy. That's really
Hey,
wild.
guys.
But yeah, I
It's
always
mostly
think you have
Vince
like
right now. Steve bounced. Go.
yeah. Sometimes I think you have a 5th kid, and then I go through all the names. And I'm like, nope, it's just 4.
Now, if you count Justin, there's 5. You know,
And then your 3 cats.
You can be listening. Oh, yeah, you have a lot of fur babies now.
he's listening. He's around the house
Yeah.
somewhere. He knows what I said. Here you go.
But it's a weird thing here. Vince McMahon during this meeting said that he believed that WWE had plateaued, and then in order to get to the next level, they needed to do this merger with the UFC in order to who knows?
No, darling. The plateau happened before you resigned. Triple H
Yeah.
was doing just fine.
The plateau happened sometime in 2017 and lasted through the pandemic.
Exactly. It lasted until his allegations and he resigned.
Yeah, and then it picked back up, and then whatever. We're
Yeah,
here. We're
Steve
back
needs
to
to
that.
go on another cruise, so we get rid of him again.
Oh, yes, every time Steve goes on a cruise, there's a disaster. Let's see here. Bronson Reed. Ooh, I just woke up from a nap. That was a bad idea to do right before the podcast. When's he coming back? So
He was
Bronson
on
Reed.
last night.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he wrestled Chad Gable and won last night, so you can check that one out if you would check the replay. And then Bronson Reed versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Well, I
I
mean,
don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. I think it's going to happen. It'll probably. I think it'll happen. He got the win over Chad Gable. They also had Tommaso Ciampa get a win over one of the Imperium guys. So they're setting up multiple. I think they're probably going to do one of those things where the next challenger might be like a series of challengers. They might do like a 3-way or a 4-way match.
Yeah, on the Imperium guy, it was Giovanni. Yeah.
Yes, Giovanni.
I have to think how Samantha introduces them to know which one it is.
I think that Bronson Reed is going to be part of the layoffs that are coming up.
Oof. He was already let go once. Imagine twice.
But she might not be wrong.
No, I don't think you're wrong.
His wife also, they just announced that their IVF worked. So his wife is pregnant. So like literally in the first trimester. So she's not really that far off in other regard if it's a layoff or just taking time off or something. She's not wrong.
Oh, geez. And we got to know
Dana
here
Warrior.
for the looks like. Oh yeah, Dana Warrior was one of the office cutoffs. Yeah, I feel like that cuts a lot of goodwill with some fans. Like people would be like, "Hey, you let this guy like killed him like a lot of old wrestlers killed himself for this business, and you fired his wife, who was apparently her thing was supposed to be to help with creative with the women's division, I guess, to bring more diversity to storylines or to bring more women's division storylines. I don't know.
You were useful for your husband's death and the whole thing. Thanks, we don't need you anymore.
See, that's my thing.
Exactly.
I'm not a huge. I never was a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. So
Right.
that part, but like, I hated it when they did it to Vicky Guerrero too. Originally, after they let her go and everything with the whole Eddie thing. If your big thing is that you're taking care of these people, these spouses after their contributions, don't
Right.
make them first on the freaking chopping block.
Yeah, but that
And Dana's on TV once a year. So she does the Make-A-Wish event. She helps sponsors with Connor's Cure. It's not like her position.
right, and that was kind of and that's another person that did that was Stephanie, and she's not around anymore. Tara agrees. The Warrior thing was an absolute Dana Warrior thing was an absolute disgrace. And again, Ken, I was a Hulk and a Macho guy more than I was an Ultimate Warrior guy.
Exactly.
But the guy had a wife and a family, and like he was a messed up dude, and a lot of the messed up, like I think if he was selling cars or working at Best Buy, he would still have been a crazy person.
Oh, absolutely.
But the lifestyle of pro wrestling with the steroids and the drugs and everything else, it certainly didn't help. The guy went over the edge, and
but he was stiff too in the ring. That's the other thing that drove me nuts. I mean, his personality, because kayfabe didn't have any effect on us when we were, we didn't know who Hellwig or Jim Warrior,
right, exactly,
what he was all about. Renegade. We didn't know all of this stuff.
Renegade killed himself, man. That was a sad story.
But we didn't know the difference between. We really thought Renegade was him because there was no face paint. We thought it was another Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 8 because it can't be him. He didn't look like that last year at WrestleMania 7.
The Ultimate Warrior died. Remember that rumor? That rumor went around so much.
Wait, what happened?
We didn't know any of this stuff. So.
Oh, all right, so real quick, for those of you who don't know or wasn't watching at the time, there was a rumor when the Ultimate Warrior got like let go or like went on hiatus and came back in between.
Remember when he got fired after SummerSlam?
Yeah,
at Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
So they brought him back, but the problem was when he came back, he was a lot slimmer. He wasn't as right. He cut his hair. He wasn't as chiseled. So what he did was he got a body like his singlet looked like airbrushed abs and pecs. So in order to like give the image that he was muscly, and people were like, that's not him. It's a different guy because he looked different enough. Where I guess if you had, TVs weren't HD back then, but there was, that was the rumor. It was like in the Beatles, Paul is dead. Paul is dead.
Yeah, you were still adjusting the antenna if anything looked fuzzy back then.
Seriously, or one of those dials on the actual TV. Oh man.
So what he's talking about in particular was the one that I was bitching about the other night when I was watching with you, and I said that botched ending is all Papa Shango's fault.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, and Paco Shango didn't run out, and Sid had to kick out of
So
the leg drop.
So that skinny guy that ran to the ring to go help Hulk Hogan, that was the Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, see, there you go.
Wait,
that was.
Yeah, that's the
I
same.
knew the music sounded familiar.
Yeah, that's the same one from WrestleMania 7.
Yeah. It was
So that's the same
that's
Ultimate Warrior.
I still find it dumb because my mom just told me this recently. Like gorilla position wasn't a thing at the time.
Yeah, WrestleMania 8, 7, and 8. Yeah, gorilla position wouldn't have been. The spot would have been there, but it wouldn't have been called gorilla position.
yeah, because he wouldn't have been dead yet. They didn't name it Gorilla Position until after Gorilla Monsoon passed away, so that would have been like in the late 90s or
he was on.
Oh, that's why they called it.
Yeah, he was on broadcast with Bobby
Right.
Heenan at WrestleMania 8.
Yeah, so once Gorilla Monsoon started working backstage, that was the spot he would work in to set people, give people their
That's
cues
why
and
it's
stuff.
called gorilla.
Yeah.
Position.
Wait, I'm about to blow her mind here. I'm
Oh.
gonna. I was this many days old when I realized that Gorilla Monsoon's last name is Morella and his son was Joey Morella.
The referee. Yeah. And then they named Santino Morella.
Yeah.
Santino Morella is named after Gorilla Monsoon's real
Gorilla
name.
Monsoon's
Dang,
real.
Dead and Deader.
Dang, Dead and Deader. Yeah, Joey Morella and Robert Morella. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, poor guys. Yeah, the Joey Morella story was tragic because he passed away in a car
I
accident.
don't know it.
He literally fell asleep behind the wheel.
Yeah,
and
that was
killed-
it. Yeah.
And Harvey Whippleman was in the car with him. Harvey Whippleman made it, but Joey Morella didn't.
Yeah, that was a tough one. And then the guy, the Renegade.
Yeah, JYD's is worse though.
Oh, going to his daughter's graduation?
Yeah.
Oh.
He died going to his daughter's graduation.
Wait, who?
Junkyard Dog.
Wait, I didn't know he died.
A long time ago, baby. Long before you were born.
Yeah.
Is Coco Beware still alive?
Unfortunately.
Don't watch this season of Dark Side of the Ring. 90%, like every other episode is somebody dying in a car accident.
Yeah.
It's
Here
really
she goes, is Coco Beware still alive? I'm like, unfortunately.
Oh, hey, listen, just because Frankie's dead.
That's what.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Frankie died in a house fire. Sorry.
Sorry, Matilda's dead.
Yeah, well, Matilda died. Yeah, Matilda's been dead for 30
Winston's
years.
dead.
Winston's been dead for 25
Bulldog.
years.
No, the dog, British Bulldog's dog.
Yeah, the dogs are gone.
Obviously, British
Yeah.
Bulldog's dead.
No,
British-
the
no.
dog. He used
Oh
to
my
walk
God.
through the ring. Not Davy Boy Smith.
Rails. Yes, he's dead too.
Well, they're both dead, so I guess it would make sense.
Bulldogs traditionally don't have long lifespans, I guess.
Then what was Dynamite Kid's excuse?
This is why Steve said to be careful
Oh my god.
right before he left. This is why he said to be careful because we end up going down these roads.
Macho Man is dead.
I know
But no-
Macho Man is dead, Alex. Thank you for
Yeah,
informing me.
So one more weird one before we get back to the actual news of the day was you mentioned the Renegade, and the guy's name was Rick
Yep.
something, and yeah, they built it up as if the Ultimate Warrior was coming to WCW. They actually offered the Ultimate Warrior a lot of money, and he said no. So they're like, screw it, we'll just get a guy that looks like him. So they got a guy that danced in like a Chippendale. He's like a Chippendales dancer.
Yep.
And they trained him to be a wrestler, and he stunk. And it
Like
wasn't
watching
his
Lex Luger
fault.
wrestle. It was like watching
Okay,
Lex
well,
Luger
no one
wrestle.
cares about Lex
Yeah.
Luger. He was
But
the-
basically, what happened was the Renegade, they pushed him as the Ultimate Warrior ripoff with similar music and face paint and the whole deal. He was called the Renegade Warrior. The WWF sued them or sent a cease and desist and told them they couldn't call him Renegade Warrior, so they just called him the Renegade. And he stunk. He beat Arn Anderson for the WCW US title, and people booed uncontrollably. And then at one point, they decided to stop the thing. So after one of his bad losses, Jimmy Hart, who was his manager, came in the ring with a bottle of water and a rag and put the water on the rag and wiped the face paint off of his face. He said, "You're not the Renegade. You're just plain old Rick." And then he got fired and then got into an argument with his girlfriend. And I think he killed her and then shot himself.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a fun one. Yeah.
Sleep tight tonight, sweetheart.
Yeah, don't ever watch Dark Side of the Ring. I don't know. Well, maybe
Oh,
wait a
I've
couple
watched it
years.
before.
Okay.
I've been watching it since I was like 7 years
This-
old.
Dark Side of the Ring this season is pretty rough.
Did you see the Chris Candido one?
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Tammy and Chris. Tammy and Chris, I thought it's just as bad. I mean, it's almost as bad as the Macho and Randy one or the
the Randy and Elizabeth one was awful.
Yep. But and then the Benoit one, him
It
and
was
woman.
a joke too. Yeah.
But it was just it's interesting that they can point to these couples the couples in wrestling where things go wrong, and now you can like point to couples in wrestling, and you're like Renee and Moxley or Becky and Seth. It's like we have, or Trinity and one of the Usos are like, see, we have good couples in wrestling.
Yeah, but you see, but that's the whole. You could even put Dustin and Terry Reynolds in that category or whatever, though.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
The rules of the road, like that was
Jojo
even
and Bray.
like even like we're talking about like Jade Cargill before or whatever. It's like the reason she kind of didn't do WWE the last time and she was in AEW was because she had more freedom,
right,
to raise her kid.
Yeah.
Those rules did not apply when these wrestling couples were on-screen romances / off romances or whatever and doing whatever. Wife stayed home with the kids. If she worked, she was on the road like Elizabeth, locked in a dressing room.
Right.
For your turn, come out, do what you got to do, leave, and then we go back to the hotel room. He can go have a couple of drinks, but you're staying here. And no offense to Randy Poffo, because I absolutely loved him and I loved Elizabeth, but that's just the way it was back then.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was just unfortunately the way it was. Tara chiming in the comments, speaking of Davey Boy Smith, I met him in 95, one of the nicest human beings. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Davey. Yep. Aside of when he was, probably ballooned off his face on something, but that was like Jim Neidhart, RIP too. Yeah. He was, every time I met him, he was a very nice guy, and then by the end of the night, he'd be fucking bright red and incoherent.
See, but here's the funny thing. See if you agree with this with me, because I met him before and after. Davey Boy always seemed to be a lot more mellow when he was still married to Diana.
Probably.
Like after the divorce happened and everything and all that crazy heart stuff.
Yeah, that messes that does mess you up for sure.
He was really, really, like even autograph signings or whatever. He was just like, "Do I have to be here?"
Right. And I also got reminded via text message from my mother about Crash Holly. That was another not a car accident, but another tragedy. Where so Crash actually passed away in Stevie Richards' house in Florida. Yep. And then Stevie sold that house like immediately. And then moved, that was about right around a little after that. He moved back to Connecticut, and that was when I met Stevie, who's got now both Stevie Richards and Maven have really good. They've got good YouTube channels.
Oh, okay. I was
so I had to tell her Crash's real name. She's like, who? I'm like, Mike Lockwood. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Mad Mikey and all that. So basically, Stevie Richards right now, just want to give him a little plug for those who are listening. Stevie and Maven both have great YouTube channels right now. Maven is telling stories about like, the incident with the Undertaker and like, how he got steroids and all this stuff. And then Stevie has like Dr. Stevie's wrestling breakdowns, and he like stands in front of a TV and like he'll point almost like the weather. He's got like a thing or like a sports replay. He's like going through like why did this bump work or not.
He tore Nia Jax apart this week.
Yeah, but as he should.
I know. I agree wholeheartedly, but he went to town on her this week on his podcast about that. And yes, Tara, Davey Boy Smith and Diana were divorced when Davey Boy passed away.
Yeah, I think they shortly before that.
They got divorced years before that.
Was it years before that? Okay.
Yeah, well, there was some weird thing that Diana was sleeping with somebody else, and he was sleeping. It was like I said, it was a whole. It's part of the heart curse. That's all I'm gonna say.
They could write a whole like
musical,
but like a TV. You know how they have like Winning Time about the Lakers,
the Hearts and the Von Erichs. My God. Yeah.
They could have a whole TV. I mean, the Von Erich story is getting told. Yeah. There's a movie coming out soon.
My God, can you imagine?
Like MJF is in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, MJF is Lance Von Erich, the fake Von Erich, which is great. Can you
imagine like the Hartfields and McCoys? It would be the Hearts and the Von Erichs.
I mean, and you could like. There's so much because there are so many Hart relatives that were involved in wrestling, and just. Bruce Hart is his own. Like there could be a whole series about Bruce Hart alone, and I would never stop watching. He's the weirdest guy in the world.
Is he playing? Who's Zach? Who's Zach Efron playing? Which Von Erich is what she was signing?
Oh, he's playing.
He's not playing the dad.
He's not playing Carrie. No, he's playing. Is Carrie the one that's still alive?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's playing Carrie. Von Erich.
Oh, that's crazy.
Sorry, this one consigned to me also. So she's.
That was great watching you guys do it because you could have a whole other side conversation to figure it out.
I all of a sudden I was at the corner of my eye watching on the screen. Oh wait, she's signing me a question. Okay.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up. Von
And she can be, and she's better than Chris Stanlander.
movie cast.
Oh my god.
Okay, now
Don't
see,
let
you're
me
both you're both on here now. So we'll get into this. So let me just look up this cast real quick so we can get this nailed down. Top cast.
Kevin.
Zac Efron is
Kevin.
Kevin Von Erich. Jeremy Allen White, the guy from The Bear, is Carrie Von Erich.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Harris Dickinson is David Von Erich. I don't know who Harris Dickinson is.
Neither
And
do I.
Holt McCallany is Fritz Von Erich. Now, I don't know his name, but I know his face. And he's good.
Put it in the group. Let me see.
Let me see if I can.
Copy and paste it.
Yeah, no, I'll
Knows
just,
that.
I know
I'm
what
just
to
making
do.
sure
I was
you
going to show it to the camera, but I'm too
We
far
are not
away.
that technological. Sorry, okay?
Sorry. Well, some of y'all
Hey.
are old. Not my problem.
I'm the
I-
oldest one in the room right now. Thank you, but that's okay. Vince is younger than me.
Yeah, so that guy, he's been in a lot of stuff. I just can't think of something. Like I was trying to look on his
Vince
list
was
right
born
now.
in the 90s.
I was born in 87, man.
Okay, sorry, close
You
enough.
were born in 87?
Yeah, I know, right? I'm ancient.
Oh, I know him.
Oh,
Yeah,
geez. Say
that
any
guy's
louder.
playing the dad. What would be a good movie to reference for people that don't know who this McAllen guy is?
I don't know. Let's look at the
He's
film.
been in I'm looking at so many things. He's been in like he
Damn.
was in Fight Club.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah,
Justice League.
and Justice League.
Justice League. Oh yeah, okay. So he's been in a ton of stuff. I mean, just looking
Yeah,
at
he's
his IMDb.
he's like one of those famous B actors that's in everything.
Holt McCallany, and he's playing dad. I mean, it looks looks interesting enough. They have Lily James in it, an uncredited role. They have some really weird looking guy playing Harley Race. That's beautiful. There's a guy playing Bruiser Brody. Oh man, some kid who does not look like Ric Flair playing Ric Flair. You guys got.
Did you see that kid? I know.
Oh, that's wild. All right. Well, I got to stop looking at this. Let's get into the meat of the matter because we talked about this for a couple weeks. I know we don't have the video examples right now, and Steve is usually the one that controls that stuff, but I do just want to talk about it really briefly because we have two people here who are experts, and I can't say that I'm an expert. It's not me. The other two on the other side of the screen here are experts on American Sign Language.
I'm an expert. He sounds like he's in Peppa Pig.
And we
Oh,
have,
I can't with Chris Statlander.
yeah, all right. So let's talk about this a little bit because Chris Statlander has been signing things as she comes out to the ring. She's been doing interviews saying that when she doesn't necessarily know anybody that's hearing impaired, she just thought that it would be, she wanted to learn it so that she could communicate with people who are hard of hearing. There's something she picked up during her injury, et cetera, et cetera. Supposedly she signs more than a woman and some other stuff. But the
Don't use
feedback,
more than a question.
the feedback that I'm getting, the feedback I've been getting from Kat and over there is that the
Can
signing's
you
not
forget
so
my
good.
name?
Go ahead. No, because you haven't been on. So
But
you
you know,
haven't been
you're
on.
right. But
You're
that's
on it.
just-
You're on it, but you haven't been on yet to criticize, but you're going to.
But
So I
here's
want to,
the-
yeah.
Here's the thing, because she says it 100 times that she learned basic sign. I don't do sign language. I don't know sign language. I know basic sign so I can get through the day. That's great. Then you don't belong as a hearing person on television signing incorrectly.
What is more than? Oh, this is not more than a woman. This
Yes,
is
she does. She constantly does this. Okay, this is means house. Like if
Okay.
you're building a house, the term "more," you put your hands like this and you put them together. So she's trying to say more than a woman. That's the other thing. She signs man half the time. She goes, "I'm more than a man." No, this is woman, honey.
Oh, because it's because
Girl is down here. So
yeah.
girl is down here and a boy is up here. So she'll
Oh,
sign
shit.
more than a woman, but she starts up here, but she's signing father when she does it. This ain't a woman. Unless we're not even going into the political stories and all that stuff.
Right.
I'm just talking in general. This is girl, this is boy. So when she does more than a woman, she's saying she's a house of a man. And anyone that's deaf that sees that will know she's wrong. That's the problem.
We were having a whole conversation about it in
And what she said, Chris, first off, then she goes, Chris is home. Okay, if you don't have any deaf friends, you don't have a sign language name.
Oh wait, what? Really? Oh, is it not?
So a deaf person has to give you a name for you to be like welcome, like
Accepted.
Accepted.
Okay.
So like my mom's is cat, right?
Yeah,
So
it's two Ks
whiskers
with the
cat.
sign for the cat.
Now mine, because I had a friend named Johnny who was in my class, he called me Autumn because a tree and the letter A and you'd shake it.
Because you know autumn, fall. Yeah. So
okay.
that's how. Yeah. But a deaf person has to give you your name. She, by her own admission, says she doesn't know any deaf people.
Oh, it's like a you can't choose your own nickname type of deal.
Nope, not at all. You cannot.
Like this is Scott.
You can't give yourself your own.
So if you if I signed up for a sign language class and they started to we were going around the room to introduce each other, what would you just kind of say as
my name is Kathleen?
Oh, you'd spell it out, and
yeah,
then
and you could say, and you could say, call me Kat. But you would be Vince.
Right.
And
but
you
then
would
you'd have
still
to
be
figure
signed Vince, or I can abbreviate you like, okay, you're VE or you're VI,
right,
whatever. So I'm not spelling out your whole name. But even me in my teaching, I can't give a person a name.
Like when we were signing,
I'm not deaf.
Like when we were signing, because in our class, like we taught the book No David, and we like had to get permission. Like, hey, can we say No David and like D over here?
Like as a keeping close to the heart, because the mother was telling the story. I can't, like I said, I have credentials that I'm allowed to sign. I'm allowed to teach.
Right.
Most hearing people are not supposed to be the teachers. It's not my community.
Right.
So when she goes out there and platforms herself like that with the wrong signs, it's bringing back the problem that we've been working with for the past 3 years with Scott to stop hearing people from signing incorrectly and teaching it incorrectly to hearing people.
And like so in my computer class, which is first period, we were talking about it because we're talking about sign language, and Spencer goes, "Oh, Autumn knows sign language," and so we were like talking about it, and then I pulled up the article from the Washington Post, and then I brought up Chris Statlander. So she pulled up, so Miss Barr pulls up a video and goes, "That's not sign language." She goes, "That looks like Pig Latin to me."
Oof.
That's pigged in sign language. Exactly. That's pigged in sign language. You're absolutely right. It's like she does like Pig Latin version of sign language.
It's like when somebody speaks Spanish, but it's like
language.
Right. Because there's a difference. Like, see, here's the problem.
Sign language slang.
She's doing signed exact English. So she will give a sentence in the language that she's speaking and signing. That's not how American Sign Language goes. It's fragmented and broken up. Like if you were learning French or you're learning Spanish or whatever, like, like the vowel goes here, the word goes, the consonant goes there. It's not all the same straight sentence like how we speak.
The structure of an American Sign Language sentence is different than if you were to say it out. Like,
Correct. That's why it's hard sometimes when someone's talking and signing at the same time, because both hands aren't doing the same thing as your mouth.
Now, see, for me, it's just it's just easier because I've been doing sign language my entire life.
Right, and I've been doing it for over 30 years. But someone that's trying to pick up a class and just figure out how to do things, and then you go on national television and do it.
It's embarrassing yourself.
Yeah, I would have, that's one of those things where before I went on television, I would go to like an intensive thing and be like, make sure I'm getting this
no hate for
right.
Statlander whatsoever.
No, I know. I think she's great. Like
I said, I think I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago when we first brought this up. Dolph Ziggler is fantastic.
Oh my gosh, Dolph.
At sign language?
Yeah. Well, Dolph has is it his sister?
Yes.
His sister's there. So
the way he flows with it,
you would think he was. Like I said, Chris Statlander sounds like a hearing person. Dolph Ziggler does signs like a deaf person.
Which is the great compliment.
Which is a good compliment.
You say I sound like a deaf person.
You do, but he can have a sign, an exact English conversation and sign in American Sign Language.
That's really interesting. I didn't realize that Dolph and his brother there, the Hollywood hunk, have a sister that's
I want to say it's a sister. I know there's someone in his family because he's said about it for years, and he's been at autograph signings with this girl, and she's a lot younger than him.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Signing and stuff, and she's.
And I know it's not his daughter.
Well, yeah, it's not right.
But the first time we saw her was on Total Divas.
Mm-hmm.
And Nikki, because remember when him and Nikki broke up or whatever?
Yeah,
Nikki Bella knew exactly who she was, and she got all excited and ran over to her. And even Nikki was like, "How are you?"
Oh, wow.
She wouldn't have known that if it hadn't been involved with someone in the family, because I don't recall anything of Nikki Bella doing that. But like I said, she was with Dolph for a long time.
Yeah,
I wish they were still together.
So I bet you Nikki Bella is probably decent at sign language then.
I would have the little sign I saw probably, but I mean, there's a whole 90-day fiance right now about a person that is literally signing, like, going to marry somebody from another country, and she doesn't sign at all. There's an interpreter and a foreign language for this couple. A lot of people don't pick it up.
Wait, which one of them is hard of hearing?
The American guy.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I mean, that's the best. I think that's the best possible option. So you just don't have some foreign lady screaming at you for the rest of your life.
But she's Cantonese.
Oh, he really lucked out. Imagine getting screamed at in Cantonese the rest of your fucking life. No way, buddy. Holy shit.
I never watched that show, but as soon as I heard that there was a deaf guy on there and he was the American and she was the foreign chick, oh my God, I have to watch this.
Beautiful.
Like train wreck, have to.
She's gonna write notes on the back end of a wooden spoon for the rest of his life. Oh my God.
So true. I want to talk about that comment that just came in.
Oh, what David said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, let me run through the comments real quick. So Tara says no, she's the oldest. She just turned 46. Well, yeah, I mean, you know,
that's 3 years, honey.
It's not that, you know.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah. Well, except for when your brother was just on. Yes, you're currently the youngest. We got the David Roska ESPN update. Patrick, I've heard of Patrick Roy. He was an NHL goalie. Very good goalie from what I remember, but I don't know specifically what you're referencing. And this is also another David Roska update. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj to the WWE. Now I think that's
I'd rather have Vince McMahon back.
Over my dead body. I love Cardi B. I love Nicki Minaj. But I'd rather watch Snooki wrestle for the rest of my life than see Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
But hasn't Cardi B kind of teased that she's interested in wrestling?
Yeah, but
well, let's put it this way. I'd rather see Lex Luger get in the ring, and you know how much I can't stand Lex Luger.
I mean, he can't stand much now these days either.
I guess you saw that video from Hardcore Pawn I sent you.
This is why Steve doesn't trust us, Kat. This is why Steve doesn't trust us. We say things like this. I'm sure he'll get a kick out of it, but also
this is like C team, go, go, go. We're not even
man.
What? We talked about The Rock already.
Oh, he looks.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about The Rock. Well, I mean, because basically the big things that have happened so far involve kind of all the Samoans. So SmackDown was kind of, you know, the big announcement was The Rock came back for this segment. Pat McAfee came back, of course, that was cool. But then The Rock came back, and then Monday night was focused on Kevin and Sammy talking to Cody about.
But to go back to The Rock segment really quick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure.
You know how much heat and how much flack we always give Austin Theory that he
ate,
but he handled that promo like if he has been doing this for 20 years. He took all the heat from the crowd. He took everything from Dwayne Johnson. He took everything from Pat McAfee. He lost his shoe over the whole damn thing. But
he did amazing.
He got my respect in the fact of how well he kept his composure for having that much going on in the ring with that type of electricity.
Yeah, I think he'll be one of those Dolph Ziggler Miz level guys.
Oh, 100%.
He'll be IC or US champion. He'll be like the B level world champion if somebody's injured or they really need somebody. But he's not gonna be. He's not a top guy.
No. He's not a Mount Rushmore. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, you have to have a lot of control and confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
And be that good to be able to first you start off with Pat McAfee, then you get The Rock, and then you have a crowd that's entirely chanting. One side's chanting urine and the other side is chanting asshole. And he didn't break character once. If that was one of the Usos in there, they would have been crawling on the floor, crying, laughing so hard.
Yeah,
Austin,
no, that's I'm glad that it worked out for him. I think if I had to walk around with that set of teeth in my mouth for 30 something years, I would probably
It's
have
true.
to have a lot of confidence too. Like
This is true.
he's that guy. I
It's
mean,
hard to look at. I agree.
who?
Austin Theory.
He's
Austin.
so hot.
Oh, good God.
Austin Theory looks like he's constantly playing that game where you have to have the dental retainer things in your mouth and you talk to somebody.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Yes, that's what he looks. Yeah, that's what he looks like. Oh my God. No, it was cool. The Rock comes back, and again, we talked about it earlier. I do not have the time or the interest to get into the fact that John Cena and The Rock both come back during the writers and actors strike because WWE is non-union, so they're technically not scabs, but they're technically working during a writer's strike, or an actor's strike. So it's a whole thing in Hollywood. But The Rock, there's no way The Rock comes out on Pat McAfee's show and says that he has had WrestleMania locked in for last year if there's not something planned going forward.
Of course.
The reaction he got, Steve was right. The reaction he got sealed it.
and I wasn't even home.
I saw, I'm out and about. I'm never thinking something like that's going to happen on a SmackDown, which is a great thing about it.
Football game.
Yeah, I was working a wrestling show. It was weird. We had a wrestling show on a Friday night. Usually we don't have those. It was a great show. BST put on a nice show in Hamden, Connecticut. But The Rock comes back, gets an absolute superstar reaction. And
somebody's freaking out. I'm like, holy shit, where is everybody? Like, nobody was answering me in the chat. I was like, what the frick?
Yeah, because I was working a show. I was ringside. But
that's proof I'm the mom that I have nothing better to do with my life than on a Friday night I'm fucking watching SmackDown.
Right.
Everyone else is out.
I'm glad you can keep us updated though, because I would have had no clue.
At least you didn't crash when I texted you Bray Wyatt died.
No,
I had no idea you were driving.
yeah, I was driving, and because I had seen earlier when somebody said, "Oh, is this a joke?" But I didn't quite. I was so it. No, I was doing some other stuff, getting ready for a show or something, and like, yeah, man, very weird.
You've been so quiet. Why are you so quiet about Bray Wyatt? What happened? Oh shit.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's dead.
Yeah, and I'm getting this. I'm like. And the worst part is I'm doing it via the voice. Like I'm pressing the thing on my steering wheel to like dictate the text message. And as soon as I sent it, I looked over and I was like, to the person in the seat next to me. And I was like, I'm going to get a text back that Bray Wyatt's dead. And he's like my age. And he's like one of my favorite wrestlers. And I just know. They're like, how do you know? And I'm like, nobody asks you, did you see what happened to that wrestler unless they died or they did a really cool move? So,
yeah. And if it was a really cool move, you would have sent the video attached to the message.
Yeah, it wasn't a really cool move, man. Oh, fuck. Yeah, no, it was. But I appreciate you letting me know. It was just, it was weird. I'm driving and I get, I'm listening to it via Siri voice dictation.
Oh, that's probably the first time my voice actually sounded good.
A little robotic,
So, listen, it's been called worse with the New York accent in Virginia.
Oh, man, I'm surprised anybody even knows what you're saying down there.
There's John Cena.
A whole gaggle.
What did you say?
I said, I live with you. I still don't know what you're saying.
He goes, I lived with you 16 years. I still don't know what you're saying.
I don't know. His accent's not as thick then.
No, but don't forget, I have a Puerto Rican mother.
Oh, so you got the, yeah.
And both of my parents are from Brooklyn.
So you've got it extra thick, yeah.
It comes about as thick as the glasses do in my cousin Vinny. I can't help it.
My friends say I just talk normally. They say I don't have a New York accent, but I don't have a Virginia accent either.
You don't. You don't have either accent. Like I said,
you're kind of in the middle.
You didn't grow up hearing it in that. You only hear it from me. I heard it from both of my parents. My Pop-Up sounds like freaking James Gandolfini.
I know, and it's so weird.
That's going away too, because a lot of kids. Even like the Boston accent, that Boston accent's kind of going away. It's really the only the older generations.
Thank gosh.
I still know somebody who has it, and he's like, my accent's not that thick. And I'm like, yeah, it is, dude. You just don't know it.
There's a kid.
I at least admit it. I know my accent's thick.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I had one of my friends just moved here from Massachusetts, and he's from the Boston area. Oh, my gosh. He goes, I just got my car for my birthday. And I'm like,
my car.
That is the most annoying word Steve Harvey says.
Really?
Every time you watch Family Feud, someone's going to go home in a brand new car.
See, now you're getting. I hate that you've pointed that out because now I'm going to notice it. I didn't notice
yeah,
it.
Mom, I never noticed it.
amongst all the other stuff that Steve Harvey does that's wild on Family Feud, that was one of the things I didn't notice, and now it's going to be in my brain.
Did you see the Family Feud one when the WWE superstars were on?
Most recent one I haven't seen, no.
Okay, so Big E was on it, and they said, name somebody that Steve Harvey's going to hook up with or whatever. Yeah, and he goes,
Beyonce.
and he goes, what?
Beyonce.
You think I can handle Beyonce? So he starts cracking up like, there ain't no way. He goes, I'm died and gone to heaven. It has never happened. That's not going to be up there. No way. He turns around. Beyonce is number one.
Number 3.
Hell yeah.
It's hilarious.
Ding. Oh,
He's like,
that's
what?
beautiful.
The look on his face, like, you think I can handle Beyonce? She'd kill me. And then he goes, and then Jay-Z will bring me back to kill me again.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to check that out. And then so just quickly, Monday Night Raw, since we got about five or so minutes. I mean, we can go overtime; it doesn't matter to me. But wait a minute. I thought there was. Wait a second. I just noticed something. You told somebody to go to bed, and they're still here.
He just showed up to eat. Justin came home from work. He's noshing on his dinner.
Oh, all right. I was like, wait a minute. I thought there was shenanigans going on. No.
Justin came home from work while we were literally on the show.
Okay.
So he's having quality time with Dad here.
And
You're
then
okay then. All right. I thought we had a prisoner trying to escape.
Show him the French fry you're eating. Show Vince your French fry.
Oh, that's a nice big steak fry too. All right, cool.
Cracker Barrel.
Ooh, I like steak fries.
Okay, what about me?
What about you? Been here the whole time? You don't have a bed. As far as I know, your bedtime isn't 9 o'clock like the other ones.
Mine's 9:30 actually.
Well, then you should be in bed already. What the heck?
So late. That's his point.
Oh my gosh.
Well, on that note, I'm going outside to have stop.
Oh, there you go. There's
enough charge on my computer so they can go.
Oh, there you go.
This way.
Oh my gosh. And just quickly to follow up with for Monday night, or finish up with Monday night. So, I suppose. Bye. If you don't follow, bye. Have a nice night.
I'm fucking fired.
So there's the whole thing going on right now with Cody, Sammy, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
They're trying, basically now Jey Uso is being his affections are being fought for between two different factions, the Good Guys and the Judgment Day. And apparently, Dominic just keeps getting the shit beat out of him by Cody Rhodes, and that's just Dominic's role right now. And
he has no mommy because Nia Jax took.
Yeah, So, and I guess it's storyline because she's attending the Australian Football League finals on behalf of behalf of WWE. She's attending it, and she's also there to announce the next Australia Super Show.
Right.
So, but still.
But in all seriousness now, that bonsai drop she should not be doing.
So imagine you're a WWE office worker. You work there for 20 years. You get let go. And then the next time you turn on wrestling, it's Nia Jax rehired, tripping over her own dick, messing up another move. Like, are you kidding me? I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
I mean, the Samoan drop on Raquel outside the ring scared the shit out of me when she threw her on the mat from the outside. Yeah. She is literally, I'm scared when she's in the ring with some of the stuff, how she just manhandles people like that.
Yeah, and they gave that bonsai drop a new name. I don't know.
I heard it. I don't remember what it's called, but I did hear Michael Cole say it last night. But as far as I'm concerned, it's Yokozuna's move. So
exactly.
And he's the only member of the Inoue family or any of the Mayavias or whatever that should be doing it.
He was the only one that could ever hit it the right way. Yeah, for sure.
He lets go of the damn rope.
Well, that's the thing. If you didn't let go of the rope, it ruins the whole. Yeah.
Eric said it, and he was right. Somebody's implant is going to pop.
Could you remember when that happened to Charlotte?
But can you imagine if that comes down to Charlotte's? Who's the other chick that has the huge implants? Chelsea Green.
Oh no. Poor Chelsea. She's having enough injuries. She doesn't need a friggin' titty pop.
Not even her that's injuring. It's her partners.
Yeah.
But those things, do you know how dangerous that is for that to happen?
Yeah, because then this stuff can leak into your system and get
There's no episode of Botch that's going to save that shit.
Oh no, you gotta go in there and really, it's bad. It's bad times if that happens to you.
That's not good. Of all the moves that they could have given her.
Yeah, I think they're trying to give her something safe, but
how is that safe?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I don't know what move could you, if somebody said to you, hey, excuse me, if Nia Jax, if they said to you, Nia Jax has to give you a finishing move in a wrestling ring, what would it be?
Give her a jackhammer.
Oh God, you want somebody to she's gonna drop somebody on their fucking head.
She's done it. She does it on the Samoan drop already.
Yeah, that's a dangerous looking one too.
You know what? Give her a lariat clothesline.
Oh yeah, you know what? How badly could you fuck up a clothesline? Just do that.
But give her. She's this huge ass chick.
What about the rear view?
Oh God, now you really want to kill him.
The pounce. There you go.
You got okay. It was cute when it's like when Asuka does it, or like when Naomi, Trinity, whatever you want to call her. But would you want that coming at you?
Well, no, I think that's why. Instead of the rear view, it's the road
imagine if Bull Nakano did that? Yeah. Well, at least it would have been done right.
Yeah, it would have been done the right way.
Or Awesome Kong, if Kia did that shit.
Oh, gosh. Any of those big girls like that doing the rear view would be a bad time.
You know what? She should go into training with Kia.
I don't know why I guess maybe she wasn't planning on coming back, but why wouldn't you just try and get a little bit better? Just a little bit better before coming back. Like go train somewhere.
That's why they didn't waste any time on putting any good ring gear on her.
No, why bother? No, and so now Kevin Owens is kind of not trusting Jey Uso.
Right.
He's not very happy at Cody for bringing Jey over, considering Jey was. Listen, Kevin's not wrong. Cody and Sammy aren't necessarily wrong in asking him to giving him a chance and telling him he's changed and all that stuff. But,
But in order for Cody to go to SmackDown, in order for Sammy and Jey to be really united in Usi, you got to make Kevin the heel.
Yeah. I mean, do you do a full heel turn, or does Jey actually eventually win his respect, and then everybody kind of goes their own separate ways?
Did that with the bloodline, with Jey finally getting Sammy's.
Right.
So I see this becoming more of a War Games thing, and Kevin turns on them.
Ooh, oh my goodness. And he turns on them, but it's War Games against the Judgment Day, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could also see Kevin as a member of the Judgment Day.
Yeah, because they've been teasing that Jey Uso, with the white tips in his hair, will pledge his allegiance by dyeing them a certain color. They keep hinting that he's going to dye it purple, and I don't think they keep they're teasing it too much, which is how you know it's not going to happen.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So the obvious person that is going to join the Judgment Day would be the least person you expected.
And then we get a purple Kevin Owens shirt for the first time. It's a black shirt with the purple KO.
But I could actually see him fitting in well with the Judgment.
Are they still including what's his name? The
was not around last night.
All right.
I don't know if that's because of the beating he took from Cody last week. He had.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that.
The other weird thing is, Matt Riddle was supposed to be on last night again, and they didn't schedule him.
Yeah, and then Tegan. So Becky Lynch requested that Becky face Tegan Knox on Raw for the NXT Women's Championship, and that was cut shortly before the show started. As well.
But Matt Riddle thing, I still think has to do with what happened last week at JFK.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
So even though he took that post down and recanted it since then,
he's on a short timeline with them. Now that, listen, I know Dana White might not have any actual contractual kind of say in WWE, but the fact that Dana White is the other CEO and doesn't like him already, he already doesn't like him. So I think they're not going to put up with it because the UFC had a bad experience with Matt Riddle to the point where they got rid of him. Tara says that apparently Nia Jax, Leia Fanene, I always think of Shanae from In Living Color when I see that. But anyway, she said she trained with Natty and TJ. Obviously, it didn't help. Now, they're wrestling trainers, not miracle workers. They can only do so much. I guess they tried. And also, they did schedule him. Riddle no-showed. So, yeah, I did hear that as of 4 p.m. yesterday, Riddle wasn't in the building. And I guess the rest of the night he wasn't. I think they had something penciled in if he was there, but
Weird.
I think he's done. Unfortunately, I mean, I think the guy's, the guy might have more problems than he's letting on.
Yeah.
So that you can only hope, because it almost seems like, now again, I'm talking about a guy who's now 30 plus days sober, and I'm wishing the best for him. But like Matt Riddle kind of is sounding the way Bam Margera was sounding when he was posting on social media a couple months ago, acting all crazy. And now Bam, apparently there have been pictures out, and he's been meeting with some people, kind of doing like a little media, not necessarily apology tour, but just like going out and appearing on people's social media, like bands and stuff, social medias, and meeting them.
12-stepping.
So he's out there. Bam looks okay. I mean, he looks like he's not on drugs, which is great. But then just the way Riddle was posting, and the way he phrased stuff and the way he said it.
He didn't look well a couple of weeks ago on Raw either.
No, in the pictures he's been posting recently, he doesn't look very healthy. It's not a good scene.
No, and it's not just weed.
No, oh God, no. That's
Whatever,
the other thing.
Pothead. I'm like, it has nothing to do with him being a pothead.
No, I don't think anybody can smoke enough weed to act like that. Because I don't think that's not one of the way he's acting is not indicative of marijuana.
No, not at all.
To the side effects, you know what I mean? It's just, it's the man needs help, unfortunately.
He's exuberating some Jeff Hardy behavior.
Yeah, and Jeff, I mean, now, geez, hopefully he's on the straight and narrow, but he's had a couple detours along the way.
It's painful to watch him in AEW now.
He shouldn't be wrestling.
He should not be wrestling. He does not have it, and there's nothing wrong with you don't have it anymore. Hang up your tights.
No, and I'm, listen, the people still, I don't think anybody's there going, man, I hope I see Jeff Hardy at 50 something years old or whatever he is, do a swanton. Yep. I think people are just happy enough to see Jeff Hardy there. Like, just let him come out and appear, manage Private Party, manage him and the House of Hardy should be a whole faction, and those guys should never have to wrestle.
Yeah,
ever.
Do the swanton once in the ring, not off a 10-foot ladder. Like at the end of a match or something, like, to help your brother win or something. That's fine. You shouldn't be trying to put in 20, 30. And they don't book him in like 5-10 minute matches. They're putting him like in 20, 30-minute matches.
Yeah, it's wild. And I know that's probably part of that is probably his call, but also somebody has to step in if he isn't thinking.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Someone has to step up and say.
Because in like 2014, 2015, I worked with Matt and Jeff a number of times, and every single show, they would fill a literal commercial-sized trash bag, the kind of trash bag you would put into one of those big plastic trash cans at a school. They would fill it with ice from the ice machine and tie it up in a knot. And then Jeff would take the ice bag and wrap it all the way around his back and his hips and his torso, and he'd wrap it with an ace bandage. And then that's how he would, the rest of the night after his match, would walk around until all the ice melted. And that was a decade ago. So I can't imagine it's much better now. Like, it's got to be a lot worse. And
picture then that's why he's on so many.
Right. Well, then he stopped.
And he's on, man.
When he was doing the swanton, he was taking all the impact on his own back.
Of course.
Now, but that was like Macho was taking the elbow drop on his side until it started hurting his hip and all that other shit. And now, now when you notice, Jeff just sticks him. Like, the swanton bomb is no longer a wrestling move. This is a shoot. This is an assault on somebody. Yeah. He just jumps off the top rope and lands the back of his torso onto a victim. Like, it's not, there's no trickery to it. There's no breaking the fall. What's breaking the fall is the human between Jeff Hardy and the mat. It's crazy.
I really think when he came back, because he saw what Sting's been doing, jumping off, that he's like, oh, well, I can still do that. I could do it better than him or whatever. Sting does it a hell of a lot more carefully than you do, and he does not do it every time.
No, Sting is extremely safe about it, and that's kind of been Sting's thing. I think that's
why he has so much longevity, because of how safe he is.
Yeah, and I think the only time I can ever remember, the only thing, and it's a big one, is I think he was the guy that did the dive that injured Rick Rude. But that wasn't Sting's fault. That was the way that they had a stage,
Yep.
like an entrance ramp that then went down to stairs and then
Right.
went
It's
to the
the way,
ring.
it's
It
the
was
way
like,
that the positioning of the stuff around him. Even Rick Rude said that wasn't his fault.
right, no, it was a pretty standard dive. Right, it wasn't Sting's fault, but that's like, it's not like the Ultimate Warrior where you're like, oh, when Ultimate Warrior was in WCW, he tried to climb the cage and
Yeah.
like tore his ACL climbing
Yeah.
the cage. You know what I mean? Like there's just shit like that.
Or Vince
Sting,
McMahon walking to the ring.
yeah, Sting has had a relatively clean record with injuries and stuff, and
Yeah, it's been normal wear and tear stuff or whatever happens.
and Sting did have a down period where he was drinking and doing drugs and stuff, but it wasn't nearly as long or as protracted or intense as Jeff Hardy's kind of spiral with substances.
But he was so much younger though, too, though.
Yeah, Sting. Listen, and Sting's also like, and not that Jeff Hardy's any kind of slouch. He's an athlete, obviously a top level athlete, but Sting has just been a bodybuilder and like probably has been eating clean, and you know what I mean. For all of this stuff, definitely helps.
And like, you know, to each their own. But he's a born again too.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely. That was another thing that helped him kind of.
It ain't touching none of this stuff or anything like that. So he does everything. Like he's the pinnacle of the example of if you keep yourself right and you do everything straight, this you can have a second run at a career.
Yeah, I mean,
but
third.
You gotta play it safe.
Right, and there's a way to maximize the mileage of the Hardy Boys without sending them out there and doing that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, like what was the match at All In or whatever? Like the coffin match with him and Darby Allin.
That was great.
That was a great match. He had a couple of great spots where he put himself in, but if you notice, he also took a good break of being unconscious outside the ring for a good 5-10 minutes and let Darby Allin do all the work so that he could get himself back together. And then he came back out there. Who cares if you need the break because you're winded? Yeah,
no, that was a great use of they've found these kind of Falls Count Anywhere matches with tagging with Darby have been the sweet spot for Sting's
absolutely
AEW career. And like there was the other one, was it against FTR? They had a great one. That was great. That was like a legitimately great match.
And nobody's disappointed at all in whatever he puts out there. Because you're getting the highlight of the night, you're seeing Sting, and you know it's going to be whatever, even that 2-second spot that he's going to pull out of his arsenal, it's going to be a good spot.
But think about it, dude. There was also the finisher choice. You don't realize until you're an old man. The finisher that you pick when you first start wrestling is that you're going to be doing it the rest of your life. And if you're like Hulk Hogan, it messes up your hips and your legs and your back and all that shit. Jeff Hardy doing the Swanton. Sting picked a reverse drop DDT and a submission hold. The submission hold is the greatest idea for a finisher for somebody who's starting to get into the twilight of their career, because then they don't have to do a damn thing.
Yep. Kurt Angle can't do the angle slam anymore, but he sure as damn well can do the ankle lock.
Yeah. Once listen, there's nothing that Kurt Angle couldn't do as long as he had his friend Percocet by his side. There was only one set of footprints in the sand that day. They were Percocets.
There's one thing he can't do without the Percocet by his side, and that's called Karen Jarrett.
Yeah, that's also true. But you know, there was that era of TNA where you just knew, like, he came out and his eyes looked like fucking marbles, and then he would just jump off of the tallest structure, and you're like, oh, Kurt's on one tonight.
Yeah, but that's the other thing too. When Jeff dropped the title to Sting that night on TNA, he was off his rocker.
Oh, that Victory Road, yeah.
Hey, come on, buddy, you got to go to bed.
Can I say something?
You can say goodnight to Vince real quick, yes.
No, it's not that.
What's that?
What's up, buddy?
What?
Make sure you fight Steve at wrestling one day.
No. I will fight him in 2K. We'll play 2K, but I will never wrestle 2K,
Steve. But not in person.
I can't wrestle Steve. First of all, I'm pretty sure Steve's bigger than me.
They have the 2K game.
23?
Yeah, they play.
Do we have Oval Legends? Did we buy Oval Legends?
Oh, geez, no, I'm not rich like you.
He said, no, he's not rich like me, that he didn't buy all the Legends.
Oh, this what? I unlocked Super Cena, and I got Eddie Guerrero in 97.
That's actually very cool that they do all those extra characters.
Oh yeah, and he loves the general manager mode.
Oh wow, that's cool for a young kid to like the GM mode.
Oh, and Mr. McMahon, yeah, he could be he.
Oh,
Mommy,
he unlocked everybody. Wow.
I got all my schoolwork done. I did not get in trouble in class. I listened to my teachers. I wiped my ass. Can I go play 2K? Sure, go.
Well, I'm glad he's wiping his ass.
I threw that in there for the Big Daddy joke. But I wiped my own ass.
I wipe my own ass. Oh man, that was a good movie. I don't know if it actually was a good movie or not, but I enjoyed it.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, I thought so. Well, shit. All right, it's quarter after. We've given the people what they want. I think.
We've given Steve an excuse to yell at us tomorrow.
Right. I'm sure we've given Steve a litany of things for which to yell at us about.
Can we delete this one after he left?
I know. We just Ryan, when you log in to get the podcast, just delete the whole thing.
Lose this episode.
Just delete the whole thing. Any final thoughts there, Kat, before we get going?
Hang on, I have an ambulance driving by.
Yeah.
Condom must be opening up somewhere. Do we have any final thoughts before we? I think we're good. We covered
right.
a lot of irrelevant wrestling stuff, but the only real highlight thing to really talk about over the since from Friday to yesterday was The Rock. I mean, nothing jumped out at me last night
Right, yeah, it wasn't like Raw was some blowaway episode, yeah. So
Raw's my big return last week was Nia Jax, great. Friday night's big return was The Rock. Nia who? You know. Exactly.
Didn't
care.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for now, guys. Wednesday is Arthur Ashe Stadium tomorrow. Grand Slam, AEW's Grand Slam should be a good show. We'll talk about that, see how that shakes out. There's a world title match. There's all kinds of interesting stuff. Usually the Arthur Ashe show is a big Grand Slam is one of the big TV, one of the big Wednesday nights for AEW.
Yeah.
Cable. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about SmackDown and Raw and everything else in between. We'll be back next week, 9 p.m. on Eastern time. Yes, 9 p.m. For those of you who aren't aware when you watch live that you're no longer watching at 6 p.m. Eastern time, you're watching at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We broadcast all over the internet. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter/X. We're on Twitch. We're on YouTube. We're on Steve's LinkedIn. We're on a lot of stuff. So check it out. Go to Facebook. You can type in the War Report, or you can type in Tag Me a Date, and you'll find one of our pages there where we stream it live. On Twitch, it's twitch.tv/War Report. That's WARREPORT. That's all one word. And then the rest of them are all at Tag Me a Date. That's at Tag Me a Date, no spaces. YouTube is Tag Me a Date. You can go to the search bar, type in Tag Me a Date, where which you'll find our channel. You can hit subscribe and hit the bell, and they'll send you a notification when we upload a video or we go live. You can follow us all over the internet at Tag Me a Date, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Lots of other stuff. Just type at Tag Me a Date in. I'm sure you'll find it. If you prefer the audio version of the podcast instead of the video version, you can, of course, go to your favorite podcast apps such as Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. You can type in the War Report. You can type in Tag Me a Date. One way or another, you're going to find it. There are a couple wrestling podcasts called the War Report that talk about pro wrestling. We are the OGs. The graphic and then the description of the podcast will tell you that it's us. It will say Tag Me a Date in there. It'll say Steve or my name or Eric or somebody. You'll know it's us by the description, so you can hit subscribe and you go right. It gets delivered right into your mobile device once we leave the show. Basically, within the hour of us going off the air, Ryan pulls the MP3 and uploads it, and then it'll just go right to your thing. You can take it with you while you're, if you're working out or if you're doing laundry or whatever else it is that you do throughout your day. But that's about it. We'll be back next week at 9 p.m. Eastern time for another edition of the War Report on a Tuesday evening. So thank you for sticking with us. We've been having a lot more. We've been having fun doing this late night show. Everybody seems to be very welcoming of the late night show, and we're happy that you guys seem to be happy, and it seems to be everybody's happy. We're happy. You're happy. It's working out. So
we can get away with saying more shit.
Right? Exactly. We can get a little more weird with it later at night. Have a nice night, guys. Thank you for watching.